Okay, another thing. Inside the Bible, this is a controversial issue these days. Inside the Bible, the Creator, he said he does not want homosexual behavior. What do we see in Uganda? Inside the Bible, homosexual behavior is banned. Yeah, it's outlawed. Yeah, by the Creator inside the Bible. Today we see that in Uganda, the majority, they are strong. Yeah, they don't want to see.
Uganda.
They don't want to see.
Because of our culture. Our culture is strong.
Because of the Bible.
The Bible. Yes.
Anybody in the act of that was stoned to death. And everybody knew about it, so people couldn't do it because of that.
Actually, God destroyed the cities because of homosexuality. It is Sodom and Gomorrah. They were destroyed because of homosexuality.
So my thing is. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. So my thing is. We can see even in Uganda that there is a strong agreement with what is in the Bible, yeah, which means that cultural thing with the Israelites in the Bible, it's still alive in Uganda.
Yes, it's still alive, that culture. Because our culture is strong, because for us, we cannot see a man like the man in Uganda. That cannot be there. Because of white people have money, then they won't bring that system in Uganda. But for us, we are still using it. Our culture is still strong.
And one thing is our country, the motto of our country is for God and our country. So if we put God first, and the Bible tells us to follow His word in the Bible, and God is against the homosexuality, and we like our country and God, we cannot go.
Well said.
That man, what he mentioned, thank you, sir. What he has just been mentioning about God is written in the Bible. I think Ecclesiastes 20, where they say, any man who sleeps with a fellow man must die. That's not Africa saying. That's not Uganda saying. That's not the Uganda Parliament saying. It's God, the Creator. So when our brothers from Europe, from America think that actually, when we say that somebody who does not behave in a normal way is mentally disturbed, because God created you that actually the only way to entrance is the front, and for you think that's behind, you are mentally disturbed.
Not only behind, but the behind of
and apart from that, God created them male and female. You will never say a male dog running after a male dog. If there is only one female dog, you will hear all of them running after that female dog. The goats, you see a male goat trying on a female goat. But if animals that don't have brains that we do have, can know that this is a female, this is a male, how about us human beings? Yes, exactly. So I really support the scientific research that actually these people are mentally disordered. And if they were fighting for rights, we have been having here a lot of human rights that are being violated. People going hungry, people who are even abortion. Abortion is a human right. They are violating the rights of the unborn child. Why are they not fighting for those rights? But they can fight for somebody who is going through the anno. Anno is an exit. It is exit. And then you think that you can put in things. No, our God forbid, and as per our culture, will never accept it. So I think our parliament has done the right thing. We only encourage our president to do the needful and sign the act. Yes, yeah.
Wow, that's a serious divergence from the first issue. But thank you so much for that. Actually, we want to have a debate on that, a debate discussion. If you would like us to come around and we explore it even more, how about that? Yeah, can we come and make a table here? Brother Mugi, hold on 1 second. You hold for me.
Bantu. Muna, tutuyambie ku Bantu. You know you have a system of Bantu. Ujimanyi ba? Hello?
Okay, gentlemen, on the topic of homosexuality, a few weeks ago, the Parliament passed the Anti-homosexuality bill, which was seen as a win to the cultural values of Ugandans. However, I don't know if you're following news. The NRM caucus converged, I think that was yesterday or the day before, and the bill has been sent back to Parliament. Your thoughts on that? Do you think that's justified?
Yes.
Because it looks like that's going to be squashed.
No. Unfortunately, what I would like to tell you, initially, the initial bill by Honorable Asman did not have those harsh penalties. Sort of when our parliamentarians, when it came to the second reading, they became emotional and put so many harsh penalties, which were not intended by the initiative of the bill. As a result, they brought in things like a death penalty, which is contrary to the Constitution of Uganda, and I think that was clarified to the MPs, and they had gone against the Constitution. So again, the same reasons that were used to quash the earlier law were going to be used by these proponents of the homosexual LGBTQ to again quash it. So the president, in his wisdom, said, no, we must plug these holes. And it's right, it's going back to Parliament. They amended those sections that are ultra-vires to the Constitution, and then he will be able to sign. So it's even being made better, actually.
So in 2014, there was still a similar debate, and which led to the same kind of conversation in Parliament, and a bill was passed, which bill in 2014 was vetoed by the president. What do you think about this one? It's giving me a feel of deja vu. Kind of, it may end the same as in 2014.
There is the saying that once beaten, twice shy. In 2014, it was beaten procedurally. And I think it could have been some bit of lobbying by the pro-homosexual guys, because the members of parliament were not there. They were not enough, the quorum was not there. Now that hurdle, we beat it. We got 389, only 2 dissented. 389 were pro, way above the number required for passing that bill. Now the issue is on these other nitty-gritties, because if you say you are going to say so and so, because he's a homo, he must be declared, he must die because of what he is. I think that is a bit too harsh. Those are the things which need to be plugged. If somebody does, and then we must also put up rehabilitation centers. That's what I think the president is saying. If somebody has come and shown that now he has been a homo and he is no longer wants, can he be helped by the state, for example, to be rehabilitated into a normal person? I think it's good.
So the parliamentarians argue that such laws are necessary to uphold the cultural values and moral standards of Ugandans. Do you share that sentiment? Do such a law, or do such laws, or the particularly discussed act in Parliament, do you see doing that? Do you see it protecting the culture and moral values of Ugandans?
You know, Africa, what I would like to tell you, Africa, or what he was talking about, the Ubuntu, humanity. The reason why a woman are created, God gave them one duty: to manage the world, to manage the earth on behalf of what? Of God. And he gave them another commandment: go and do what? Fill the earth. How do they fill the earth? By a man sleeping with a man, or a woman sleeping with a woman? No. That's why he later on developed laws during those years when the Israelites were being prepared for receiving the the Savior. I think it's in Leviticus 20, something of the kind. I don't know my verses very well. But he said that a man who sleeps with a man, that's an abomination. He must die. They must be killed. He did not even miss words. God said they must be killed. African culture, very many cultures here, you don't allow a man to sleep with a man. They must be actually thrown in the forest to be eaten by wild animals. So the thing is, this is pro our African culture. Whatever the MPs implemented was implementing the African culture as per what it is the norm is here.
So do you have confidence that laws like this will actually help to quell such behavior that, according to you, is anti-African?
You know, the biggest challenge, it will, and very positively so. The biggest challenge we are having is that we were hearing rumors that these people were behaving and were recruiting. And that is the biggest mistake they did, trying to recruit our children, trying to make the African culture, the African generation extinct. I think actually there is a thinking around that actually maybe they could have thought that by influencing men to be with men, the younger generation, maybe eventually the African culture, the African continent, the African race would be what? Extinct. So I'm telling you, I can assure you it will not be accepted in Africa. We know what we want, and God has been by our side and will continue to protect us. That's why COVID, which was thought by the powers that be the Bill Gates of this world, that when it reaches Africa, it will kill like in billions. We survived because of God. We are always protected by God, and we will go by what God has said. Why did God create man and woman? Because he wanted them to feel the earth, to manage the earth on behalf of God.
So obviously the gay people argue that they are born that way. What do you make of that?
No, they are not born that way. It's just an influence. It's just a cycle. Somebody trying to train you, trying to recruit you, and to say that now, instead of using your mouth for eating, you can use it for other things. That is normal. That is just, meandering from the truth. And you say that now this is the truth. You've known what you've heard, what is happening in the US. Many states are putting up laws trying to ban the bisexual and whatever, those other guys who are claiming that now he was born a man, but now he's going to become a woman and is allowed, All those, why? Just because they are trying to give them that freedom, which is not, which is against God's what? Creation, whatever plans.
Trying to remember my next question.
Is the LGBT, is it a population reduction agenda by the West?
So other people may argue that LGBT and
Queer.
queer.
The word is queer. Now, how can you call yourself queer? That you cannot be, you can neither be a man, nor can you be a woman, that you are queer. So you see the scientists who are saying that this is a mental disturbance, just like a madman. They say that the level of madness matters. There are those who are throwing stones. There are those who, instead of, eating, they throw. Even madmen, you give them food and they throw it around. It's the same thing. So you are born a man. For me, I can see you as a man. How can you call yourself a woman? That's what they want us to believe. And then they call themselves queer. And you allow that title. Then after 10 or 15 years, they come out crying, saying, no, I wish I knew. I shouldn't have attempted to change my sex. It's not good. I think that what God created this world be left to be as it was. He created them male and female, and he was happy. Remember those words? I don't know the full verses, but he created them male, female, and male, and they were happy. And that's why even Noah, when he was bringing all these beings, he took them male and female. I think to continue God's procreation plan.
Okay, so the idea of gay people is is seen by some people as a population control tool. What do you make of that? What are your thoughts on that?
I said it. Earlier on, if you remember, I said maybe it could have been a plan. I'm just saying it seems it could have been made a plan with the aim of making the African race extinct. Who knows? Because why are they actually focusing on Africa? Why do they focus on Uganda? Why do they focus on Kenya? Why do they focus on Ghana? And why are they not focusing elsewhere? Can they go and focus on Chinese, for example? I'm asked just one question. Can they go and focus on, say, Saudi Arabia? They tried in Qatar. And to date, we have had the best organized World Cup ever in Qatar. But they wanted to disorganize Qatarians. Qatarians said, no, enough is enough. We don't want this. You can practice it in England, you can practice it in America, in Canada, not here. So
LGBT or homosexuality is viewed by some people as being anti-African. Which sentiment you share? You do actually agree with that because you have mentioned it. But there is also another group who argue that there has been a history of homosexuality among African people. What do you say? What do you say?
You see, this one I would like to clarify to you very well. Our president.
1 second. Clarify to the viewers.
Yes, and I'm saying, our president has mentioned very clearly that sexual matters are not mentioned in public. You only go and mention when it's normal. If you are doing things which are abnormal, you keep it that way. You don't come saying I'm abnormal. Do madmen move around that they are madmen? They are madmen. It's you who discovers that they are madmen and you go and put them in a mental facility, isn't it? I've told you science has proven that these people are mentally ill. Because the other thing is an excreta. Biology has it that is an exit point. For you are having it to an entry point. You see? So whether we would like to get the statistics of how many Africans could have been of that orientation. But even if they could have been there, it has never been declared that if they are there, you can say so and so. Because it's abnormal, it's mentally ill people who do it. They don't even come out to say it. So.
Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to share their views about homosexuality and what's going on? The bill has been passed back to Parliament to be rediscussed. And I've just been chatting to a gentleman who says that the parliamentarians at some point got emotional and included clauses which are seen to violate the constitution of the country. What are your expectations? Do you think now that the bill has been passed back to Parliament for consideration, does it not give you a feel that, well, that's the end of it, it's going to be squashed and that's it?
Actually, to me, basically, I think it's a delay game, or it's just a game to throw the bill. Because according to what I see, when that bill is taken back to Parliament, definitely it's going to be quashed. It's a game by the initiators of the Homosexuality Act here. Because according to what even we hear, those people are working hard to make sure that bill is not signed by the president. And I think the president is like siding with those people not to sign the bill the members of Parliament, I mean the caucus, the NRM caucus, I think has been maybe bribed or something like that to as if there are loopholes in the bill. But according to the initiative of the bill, Asumani Basaliro, the bill was prepared very well, and according to the standards, the norms of here, the culture of here, it was a good bill. But if we see that, then we are seeing an abnormality in the system. Yeah.
So what would you like to see, or what would your message be to Parliament as they look forward to rediscuss the bill?
To me, I think the Parliament should insist on what they did at first, to make sure the bill goes through and it is signed by the President.
So, like I earlier, I would like to reiterate, such bills or such laws are seen to be put in place to protect the culture, values and norms and manners of Africans, i.e. Ugandans in this case. Do you think such laws are justified? Do you actually think that those laws are needed? And yes, indeed, if the laws are in place, they do help protect the culture and norms and manners?
Basically, if you look at the African culture, sincerely speaking, it's a rich culture. It could be even the best in the world. It's a rich culture. So the moment you alter our culture, then you are causing problems for us. So I think the members of Parliament must stick to conserving our culture and make sure that bill goes through and it is signed.
Yeah, so I'm trying to focus on the expected outcomes of the bill if actually it's made a law. Do you think it will help to protect the culture and manners and norms of Ugandans?
Yes. Actually, according to the penalties I saw, yeah, it will.
But for me, I'm worried about our member of Parliament because they are poor. They are not poor because for them they are money-minded. They want all the money because they have bring that bill back to look for money.
In brief, they are corruptible.
They are corruptible. So me, I'm worried about that. I know people will give them the money. For them, they are not worried about Ugandans. For them, they are looking for about what? Money. Because the issue, like in that one for iron seats for poor people. Someone, a member of Parliament, a minister, takes some iron seat for 500, 300 iron seats. So that European people only give about 100 million each. I think that it cannot be, it can crash that bill. I think so. I worried about that.
So if you think that Europeans are trying to promote homosexuality in Africa, in particularly Uganda, what do you think their motive is? What are they trying to achieve?
Your motive is because for us we are growing millions of people now, like in Uganda. So they want to stop us to grow. So within about 100 years, we can be all African. They are old people. There are no people here. So they will take our country. There's no one can stop them to take our country. I think so. And knowledge, we are starting getting knowledge. So they are worried about this African continent. They have knowledge. They start getting knowledge. They have minerals, everything. They are rich. So they are worried about that. For us, we are not know about that. So for them, they are worried about within 100 years. When you come with this knowledge, everything they want, the Europeans, they are working for Africa now.
So send a message to any Ugandans right now who may be watching that identifies as homosexual.
For us, we don't want that homosexual or Ugandans. I think so. That's my message. Hello, can you find a way to, help them.
Where are they?
You said they're not already,
No, the message. The message to the Ugandan population, we would like to give kudos to our members of Parliament. We thank them for representing our views as per what was in the general population. We would like to encourage our president to go ahead and sign after the amendments of those observations. It's good he was able to look at them, to use his legal team to scrutinize the bill that had been passed. If it had some leakages here and there, they are going to plug those ones. And the last step, the general population, that let's stay firm. We go on with whether we will be banned from going to the US. US is not heaven. Canada is not heaven. UK is not heaven. We all look at going back to our Creator as the best place In any case, nobody should ever threaten us. The person who have stayed here on earth longest, I think even in the Bible, were around 120 years, and those really were old. How many years has Abraham been in the grave, for example? Or how many are your forefathers been in the grave? Many more years, and we believers, that when we die, we go back to our Creator, those who have been doing the right thing. So let's continue doing the right thing. Nobody should threaten us. We will not. Yes.
What about send a message to the people who obviously come out as defenders of human rights and are seen to be fighting to protect Ugandans who are homosexuals? Send a message to them.
I would like to send a message to the community, the gay community of Uganda, who were misled. Let them realize that it was a mistake. They will come out and we will welcome them back. They are children of God, like the Holy Father said, the Pope. He welcomes all sinners. He welcomes all his children back to his church. Let them go and confess in church. They will be forgiven, they will be rehabilitated, and they become again good citizens. And for those who are promoting evil, I just pray that God touches their heart and they stop what they are doing, because they are working for Lucifer, for the devil. They don't work for any good of humanity. They work for the good of the devil. That's what I have for them.
So if you have been following international news, recently the Church of England has kind of allowed gay marriages to be made in church, and the representatives of that faith in Uganda, headed by the head of
the Archbishop.
The
Kazinda.
Archbishop.
Yes, Kazimba.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we fully support our Archbishop with the rest of the Archbishops in Africa, the rest of the world who are breaking off from the Church of England. Church of England is the head. The church that Christ left did not authorize the ordination of gay priests, that they must be allowed to be in Church of God. So our Archbishop is doing the right thing together with his colleagues, and we fully support him. And we pray that God continues guiding them to continue carrying that burden that they are carrying on behalf of God's church.
Okay, so if you're in Uganda, recently there has been a lot of scandals, from NSSF to iron sheets that's ongoing right now. What would you say to someone who views the issue of LGBT as being a deviation whenever there is a failure or a scandal by politicians?
Well, what I would like to tell you, that's the problem, that's the weakness we have with the main media players here. To talk of the media houses, New Vision, Monitor, NTV, or whichever they are. I don't know which you act for. But overall, two wrongs have never made a right. LGBT is a sin, is evil. Theft of the iron sheets is evil, it's a sin. NSSF squandering of savers' money is a sin. No one thing is diverting the other from the other. They are all sins. The only problem we have is that probably there is overwhelming by the implementers of the enforcement system. Like I see, the IGG in the country is quite weak. They are not well, maybe facilitated, probably, to be able to monitor and enforce. They come in as what I can call as probably on a carcass, which is already dead. They cannot be able to detect before somebody. This way I implore the IGG when she had said that, can we start trying to track somebody's behavioral change? If somebody has been earning 1 million but is behaving like he's earning 20 million, can we try to inquire into that and find out? Probably that system could be able to help this country in fighting it. But the vice, it goes back to the moral culture of the society. Governance is at its lowest in this society. You go to a shopkeeper, because he doesn't know you, A kilo of sugar, which is supposed to be maybe 4,000, he will tell you 5,000. He's also cheating. An MP, because he's the one who is signing to be able to appropriate money on behalf of the rest of Ugandans, because he can get a trip to Germany, a trip to US, a trip here and there, and he gets a few allowances here and there. He thinks that now that one makes him a better Ugandan than the others. Now, we are having a sort of me. That thinking right from the top, if we can stop thinking of me and we think of us, that's where the Japanese, the Asians are far better than us, because they serve. We read of theories, development theories of Singapore, even this recent one, Malaysia. Now coming up is India. India is almost in the same situation like us. So many poor, but they are able to develop, they are able to break barriers. Here our neighbors, Tanzania. It's not that in Tanzania there is no corruption, but just because the moral authority to fight the vice of theft is there. So to go back to your question that there is a diversion, there is no diversion. The mere fact that the other is touching on the existence of our race, it has to be given priority. Children. I looked at a few videos where children were being mounted by fellow children. You could cry, I'm telling you. You said, this kid, where did he get this type of information to start doing this type of thing? You get that sort of thing. So you could really, this guy is actually, I think the gallows have to be opened. The people who recruit should be murdered. That one, the death penalty should be maintained. The people who recruit. But the person who is gay, who has been maybe recruited and you didn't know, probably that one should be given a chance to be rehabilitated and be given a rehabilitation center but the guys who are coming here with booklets, with videos, with money to recruit our innocent generation into LGBT, those should really be, and I don't know, the law internationally, they should even support us. Actually, I'm surprised by the UN when they could not come to support us, that we are trying to fight for our existence. You hear of UNESCO, or what is this other organization that tries to protect extincting whatever animals or whatever?
UNICEF.
No,
Is it UNICEF?
Whichever it is, but it's one of the branches of UN.
World Economic Forum? Did you say that?
They are animals which are about to be extinct. We are trying to fight for our being extincted from this globe. And the UN is condemning Ugandans, is condemning Museveni with his parliament. I mean, they should be able to come and support and say, how do we help you here? The problem is that they have closed. For us, we are able to hear, to listen to them. They are not listening to us. And they are saying that Connie was killing your people. They try to come and probably try to protect their rights. There are so many countries where their rights of Africans, of the general population, are not being observed. They don't come out like the way they come out LGBT. Why do they come out about LGBT? Why? And we've asked the very scientists whom they are claiming that actually people are born that way. We are saying they were not there. Because God created them female and male for one purpose, what? Procreate.
Okay. So there has been a lot of organizations and independent activists who fight for, who advocate for the rights of LGBT, who have actually called for the sanctioning of parliamentarians and whoever has supported the anti-homosexuality bill in Uganda. They say that such people should not be allowed to visit other countries. Their visas should be banned. What do you say about that, and your message to such people who may be victims, people who support the anti-homosexuality bill that may end up being sanctioned if that happens? What is your message to them?
You know, one thing that I liked of our members of parliament, led by the Right Honourable Speaker herself, they were firm on that threat. They said, let it be, If it means, I said it already, whether you are not to go to America, no problem. Nobody tells you that if you visit America, you'll never die. No. Nobody has ever told you that when you go to the UK, you will never get cancer. Is it going to the UK anti-death? You will still die. You get me? And you know, we are all short-sighted. The human race, we are short-sighted. We live here, I've told you, on average, the longest is 120 years. My grandfather has stayed in his grave for more than 200 years. If at all he's with the Creator, he's happy. He's there. But if he was misled, like the way these people want to mislead, and he goes to hell, he's suffering for 200 years.
Okay,
and
so
he may suffer for. So our members of parliament, whether they don't go to America, whether they don't go to UK, is not the end of the world.
okay,
They
so
will exist, and Uganda will be there for them.
what is your reaction to? Obviously, as you will know, there are many Western governments that are major donors to Uganda, and such governments from Western countries. Hold on. Let me finish my question. Have threatened. I think Canada. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that. They have threatened to withdraw their donor money if Uganda passes the anti-homosexuality bill. Don't you think Uganda will suffer as a result if the donor money is withdrawn?
Actually, do you know the biggest disease we have in Africa? It's donor money. If at all we were able to develop using our own resources, there are mainly two reasons why we are underdeveloped. Donor money, because it comes with so many conditions that are not born from here, but to keep us as poor. That's one. Two, are the leaders in Africa. Because of not thinking of how to transform this African society into a better society. They think of their families, they think of their relatives, they think of, how to build their kingdoms around themselves, and it's not sustainable. These guys, they came and exploited us. They acted for their nations. The UK, for example, you hear of the stories that they exploited Pakistan, they exploited India, but they went and developed. It's the Queen, and the Queen is the nucleus of their agenda. You get that sort of thing.
So,
while for us here, when somebody steals, like you've heard of the scandal of some ministers, they steal and you find the iron sheets in their backyard, on their farm.
I'm sorry for stopping you there. I don't want us to lose our focus on the subject today. Obviously, we can expand and talk about so many things. Okay, so my question is, what are your thoughts on Western donors that actually fund a larger portion of our budget, threatening to withhold their support if such laws are passed, like the one in question, that's the anti-gay bill?
I believe like the US government is funding like 80% of our health budget, and not health in total, but especially the fight of HIV, malaria and etc. If they think that LGBTs are the only ones who suffer from malaria and HIV, then let them cut off. But if they think they are doing a humanity purpose for sending us funds, then they will not cut off. They will have in their heart, deep down their heart, to know that there are non-LGBT people in Africa who deserve this help. And like a brotherhood that have been helping, just let them go ahead and help us. But if they think that it's tagged on LGBT, we are sorry, let them take their funds. We will die poor than to die under the sin that was prohibited by God. Mentioned in the Bible that those two must die.
So how do we reconcile the two issues in this situation where we have countries fearing for the aid to be taken away, and then drafting laws that are much needed according to you, and then not being able to do that in fear for withdrawal of such aid? How do we reconcile that? You talked about
I'm
politicians.
going to ask you one question. Have you ever feared your shed,
My shadow?
your shadow?
No. Maybe when I was younger.
Because you make the shadow. If you are not there, the shadow is not there. It's the same thing. If, say for example, the donors are giving just the donees the money, and if they say that they are not going to be able to give to us because of ABCD, so be it. Probably there will come other helpers. We will get friends who will say, oh, you guys, you are doing the right thing. We are going to help you. And they will come and help us. The good thing is that the highest, the Almighty, we believe that He is happy with what our MPs did, and we will be able to survive. We will just adjust here and there, and we will be able to stay on. So to the donors, I've told you already, the message to them is if they believe that, say for example, the malaria that they are fighting is still there in Uganda, and it's not for only the LGBT population, it's for all the Ugandans, then they need to fight for the rights of the other ones. The president has observed that there are some lacunas here and there in the act that needs to be plugged. Because somebody to be identified as LGBT or gay, that he must die automatically, I think that was not fair. But if somebody can be put away, for example, the person who is recruiting is put away, to stop him from recruiting further, is that bad? It's not bad, because if you are a thief, and you are saying that now you are stealing from somebody's car, you are stealing from somebody's house, you be put away in a prison to rehabilitate you. Is that bad? It's not bad. It's the same thing. You are recruiting our children into bad manners, into evil, into doing satanic jobs. I think we will live with that if they will not be able to accommodate us.
So let me take you back on a matter that you mentioned in reference to a thief being put in jail because he stole. Now, research or anyway, it hasn't been 100% established that if a thief is punished by being put in jail, that actually stops him from stealing when he gets out. So what about in this case if gay people are put in jail or what? You actually mentioned that you're in support of rehabilitation for such people who are gays. So don't you think, as opposed to homosexuals being put in jail, such institutions should be established to help them?
Actually, that's where now the donors should come in to say that if they want to fight for their rights, they say we set up centers to rehabilitate them. The problem is that for them, they are thinking that that's the right way. And we are saying science has proven that this is a mental disorder. Rehabilitate these people, set up the same where they can be able to be counseled, to be talked to, and then they become born again from that type of evil they are doing. To go back on the thieves, rehabilitation, you are taking me in an area where I'm not specialized. The prison system, the world over, they are trained to do rehabilitation. Whether to a thief, whether to a murderer or whatever, they have a way how to talk to them and rehabilitate them. And those who are supposed to be for isolation, I believe those are the aggravated ones, they are put in isolation units where they cannot live with any human being anymore. So, to state that thieves leave prisons and come out and again steal, of course they are put away again. And once the law gets on you again, they will be put away. And once you are caught once or twice, then I think the matter is then declared as aggravated. So you are not supposed even to leave prison anymore.
Okay, so obviously there has been several African countries that have outlawed homosexuality, where the act of homosexuality is accepted. And what's your message, or what do you make of such African countries?
Which countries? Can you give me an example?
Like South Africa.
South Africa, it joined the movement of the Afrikaner movement a bit late. And somehow, because of having been in that environs of like our brothers in Europe and America, somehow these norms become now, these abnormalities become normal. But it does not now mean that it's normal. But our brothers there who are down there, I believe, is it Julius Malema. And the group, they will be able to finally overcome it with our support.
Okay, so now this is factual. Julius Malema, in the recent few days, who is the leader of,
the opposition,
an opposition political party in South Africa, the Economic Freedom Fighters in South Africa, who you have hope in, actually came out in support and in support of homosexuals in Uganda, and also he led a demonstration at the Ugandan embassy in South Africa. I don't know if you know that, but he actually led a demonstration outside the Ugandan embassy in South Africa in protest of the anti-gay bill.
Yeah. Now, I saw your excitement when you were mentioning Malema that he was demonstrating against our law. That's an unfortunate incident within the African continent. I would like to tell you, and South Africa is not Africa. Nor are we ready to give up on them, our brothers and sisters there. I believe the majority of the African child in South Africa, the Malema is not withstanding. They oppose the gay movement because it's abnormal. It's abnormal to the extent. Have you studied of the recent research about the global population, where there is negative population growth in Europe, in some European countries?
Yeah, I am aware of that. Yes. Germany, yes, and several other European countries. Germany, rather Japan too, China too.
China is deliberate. China is deliberate because they had to do that. I think for them because the population was getting out of control. But these other ones is because of neglecting this vice. And you see, unfortunately, we get a population where people can no longer be able to to bring forth the younger generation. And what will we also end up with? Who is going to manage this world? So even South Africans, if in South Africa, that's one country. I'm aware Ghana, they are debating it like the way it was debated in...
It's heated in Ghana too.
Yes.
They're trying to also come up with very strict laws against homosexuality.
Exactly, and I pray for them. We pray for all the African continent that finally we shall throw the vice out of this continent. Like you will not go and mention in Saudi Arabia that even there is a gay right. No. You will not go to Qatar and you say that there is here the orange band on whatever on the capital. They will throw you out because they don't entertain it. Because according to Allah, Allah made man and woman. They are the only ones to meet together. Not a man and a man, not a woman and a woman. And that is it. And I agree with them.
And your last comments to the viewers?
The viewers, we wish them that actually we continue praying for our country. We pray for our members, our MPs, that they are not intimidated by the threats of being banned from being given visas. We pray for our president that God gives him wisdom. We pray for the church, the whole church, the entire church, the Catholic Church, the Anglican Church, the world over, and even our Muslim brothers, that we continue doing the duty that God created us all for, to manage the earth on behalf of God, and man and woman for procreation, not for going through other means.